Alright everyone, so today I am visiting Ahmed's garden here in southwest Sydney near Campbelltown, and he has a beautiful property. He's part of multiple Facebook groups and he shares photos and videos of his figs and some other trees.
Bit of a
and
collection.
he's been eating them. So I said enough is enough. Time to share those figs.
Before he demolishes them all,
yeah. Before you demolish them, all of them, and the season ends and I go hungry. So thank you so much, Ahmed, for inviting me here.
Salam alaikum. Thanks for coming here. I appreciate it.
And yeah, just first of all, how did you get into gardening and growing these fruit trees?
I've always had a love for gardening. Ever since I was young, I would throw a seed of a watermelon, like a store-bought watermelon. My parents would buy. I would get the seeds, throw it in the ground, and just watch it grow. And I enjoyed watching things grow. I don't know, it was just in part of my genetics, I think, and it just stayed there. So eventually, when I bought this property, the first thing I did was clear this whole area. It was just bush.
Yep.
It was just sort of a wild bush, and sort of it was a bit of a mess. I cleaned it all up, and I slowly started planting, ornamentals and trees and mulch that make it look nice. Started working in the back.
Yep.
You can see on some of the earlier videos I've got, or the shorts, how it used to be before and it is now. I've started a food forest in the back. It's just a hobby, and I believe it or not, I enjoy other people eating it. I like watching. I don't know how you are.
I do.
I love watching someone else eating
if a fruit comes on, like first time in the season or first time like on the tree, I give it to my wife.
Yes.
To let her try it.
Yes. Before I try,
Yes.
I get joy from other people's joy eating my sort of fruits.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I get satisfaction. And yes, I've made and then obviously being from a Middle Eastern background, I started collecting figs. They're not very common in Australia. There's a couple of basic varieties, black Genoa, brown turkey.
Brown turkey.
They're good if you don't know any better, but there's some amazing, from what I researched, actually, it's the most diverse fruit on earth in terms of naturally occurring varieties in the wild, not man-made, how they breed them and cross to produce in labs. Naturally occurring varieties, there's almost 1,000. The most naturally occurring varieties of fruits on earth is the fig.
So when did you buy this property and how big is the property?
Okay, so I bought this property in late 2015.
About 10 years
November,
now?
almost 10 years old. 2017. It's 1,200 square meters, 1,200 square meters. The house itself is not very big. It's probably less than 100 square meters, but
which is good.
That's what I wanted.
Gardening.
I don't care about the house. I care about the gardening. It's exactly what the doctor ordered for me. I wanted big land. My dream is to have a acreage, but financially it's hard to get acreage. Very hard.
We live in Sydney. Come on.
It's Sydney. Getting a chicken coop is $1 million in Sydney. It's not cheap. So getting a 1,200 square meter house for my budget was perfect. So I purchased it.
Was there anything else in the property? Like, was there a fruit tree here?
The only fruit trees there was in the back, they're gone now, was a Valencia Seedless.
A citrus orange, yep.
Citrus orange. So Valencia Seedless, a lemon tree, and a honey murcot. And they're all gone now. They perished. And that would have been, at the time, this house was built, I think, 1991. And so I would have been almost 30 years old when I bought the property. So they were old trees. So I think they just expired at that time. And
what type of soil do you have and what is the climate here?
Okay, so clay soil. I mean, you got some topsoil on top, maybe a couple of 100 mil, a few inches, maybe 4 inches to 8 inches max of topsoil. Then you hit hard clay. Most of Sydney is hard clay, unless you start going towards the coast. Then you start getting sort of loamy, sandy soils. But inland, this is a little bit inland for Sydney, not too deep in. I mean, you can drive half an hour to the beach. We're still pretty close, but so it's very, very clay soil. The climate, it's a warm temperate, I would say.
Do you get frost here?
It's rare. It's rare that we get frost. It's rare. I mean, you get those years where you do get 0 degrees, or they're rare. But on average, the lowest temperature Celsius would be maybe 3 degrees, 2 degrees.
I get similar. Like,
similar, it's similar.
There's so much build out, like, you know, the highways and the houses.
Exactly,
and
yeah, there's a lot of heat emitted and things like that. But if you go deeper inland, you're going to get the lower temperatures.
All right, so we are at the front yard, which is looking very, very beautiful, very ornamental, with a great street appeal. So, what is the purpose here of
okay, so this is, as you said, it's the front yard, and its main purpose is street appeal. You know, I can turn it like the backyard, but who wants to grow a mulberry tree, as I said, and chop and drop, you know, and your front yard? It doesn't look very appealing, and aesthetically it doesn't look so good. So I've decided to put ornamental plants, mainly 99% of it is ornamentals, different colors and shapes, and like I said, I like growing anything, not just necessarily fruit or vegetables. Anything that grows, I love growing it. That's, you know, in general, I love growing things, you know, period. So yeah, I've chosen different things. You got Australian natives, which one of my sort of favorites actually, because they thrive in our climate. You just throw them in there and they thrive. They you know, adjusted to the drought and the heat and the Australian sun. Like this one here is a Australian grass tree. I'm not sure.
Oh, this is a grass tree.
This particular tree here is called the Australian native
looks so
grass
beautiful.
tree.
It's like right in the middle, like the showpiece.
Well, this one here is actually about 50 years old.
Oh, okay.
They're super slow growing, brother. They grow on average about 2 to 3 centimeters a year.
A year?
A year on average. So anywhere from 1 to 5 centimeters on average. So a year, it's super slow growing. You can see that they form grass-like leaves, and then they start dying out, and they keep building up. But they're so slow, and it looks like it's burnt, the trunk there, but it's not. That's naturally, when bushfires occur in the wild, this thing, subhanAllah, is designed to take extreme heat. And it was actually thrives in the bushfire conditions, because the fire will burn all the old leaves, and it'll aerate the tree, which it needs. And it can cope with hundreds of degrees Celsius. So in captivity, in you know, nurseries, they get a torch and they burn it. That's what they do, to burn the old you know, dead leaves and things, because naturally that's what it needs. So they're good. They're good trees. And I've planted sort of ground covers.
Yeah, what is this? The silver color thing?
Okay, so that's a ground cover. I'm not sure, you know, there's so many, I forget every single name.
Yellow flowers. They look very beautiful.
They're beautiful. So, but they're extremely drought tolerant. You can throw them anywhere. You notice a lot of the council strips.
Yes, that's why I was asking, like, what is
exactly?
This?
They use it for a reason. The council uses it in the public areas for a reason, because they're low maintenance. They're extremely vigorous. They require almost zero water. They survive on rain alone. And almost 12 months of the year they're in flower, almost.
And all this, like, shaping of these bushes and everything, do you do it by yourself?
So yes, this doesn't actually take that form. So I prune it. I've got a cordless hedger pruner, and from time to time, depends how vigorous a plant is, I'll come and give it a haircut. And I'll print it the shape that I desire. Some I've done like a bonsai style. Some I've done. There's you know, you get artistic and you start sort of, you know. Some are round, some are one. So different shapes, sizes, textures.
It's good to see a mixture of like natives and fruit trees. Speaking of fruit trees, shall we go from there and go to the mango?
Okay. So we'll start with the fruits. So this is my oldest mango tree. It's a Bambaroo mango tree.
Grafted Kensington Pride.
It's a grafted Kensington, exactly. That's what it is. It's actually a Kensington Pride variety, but it's a grafted type. It's supposed to be you know, more superior selection of Kensington Pride. That's about 8 years old. I planted it maybe a year or two after I bought the property. It's Australia's favourite mango, as you know.
It is a great mango.
It's a beautiful mango. You can't sort of knock it. You
can't go wrong with the Kensington Pride.
You can't go wrong. It's for us, it's the standards when it comes to mango. You always judge it against the Kensington Pride. Beautiful mango, good looking mango, nice and aromatic, sweet, to a bit of sour, tangy flavour. It does well in Australia. Semi-productive, depends on the year. Sometimes they can have a bumper crop. Other years they're average. Last year was super productive. This year is still good.
Still loaded.
It's no, mashallah. It's loaded. Yes, but sometimes when you have that bumper crop, you almost can't see the leaves.
Look at the size of these mangoes. Like they look really.
Mashallah, yeah, they love, as you know, tropical fruits. They do like water, and especially here because I've planted on a slope.
Yep.
It's so the water doesn't hold very well. So that's why I needed to mulch heavily to retain the moisture. And I do have irrigation running through, so maybe we'll get to that later. And they love sort of wet conditions. They're tropical plants, and it looks good aesthetically in the front garden.
It does look really beautiful.
Yeah,
like,
so it goes well with the garden because
hanging.
it's an evergreen, as
evergreen
you know.
tree,
You know, so evergreen. The fruits looks beautiful, you know.
Especially the new growth, all the bronze and
exactly the contrast, of bronze and sort of reddish to green. To fruits, then the fruits will change color to orange and yellows, and what you can't ask for more, you know. Like no one can beat that. SubhanAllah, it's beautiful.
All right, what else is edible on that side, maybe?
Okay, we'll come this way, yeah. So yeah, you can see I've done different. It's what I do. I like doing it, you know. Every time I see something out of place, it can't be out of place. I'm a bit picky like that, you know.
Especially against the black musk, like it's very striking, the contrast.
Yeah, I just done that yesterday, mainly for the, look, I've had black before, but it fades over the years and needed a new top up.
Okay.
I wouldn't put coloured mulch or anything like that in the back. I'll put natural stuff. I've got like family friends that work in the industry, mulching. They bring me truckloads of mulch because they have to pay for it to get rid of it.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
So I'll make a phone call, the boys will drop some mulch for me and I spread it in the back.
Yep.
But I wouldn't put it in the front for aesthetic reasons. It does look, so I put sort of coloured mulch in the front because it makes it pop out more. Black background to our colourful sort of trees and plants makes it look really good. Okay, so the second tree that I've got, the edible, that's maybe about 6-7 years old, is a Washington Navel.
Yep.
Most common grown navel.
Yep.
Can't go wrong with it. Highly productive. Juicy, sweet fruit.
How old is this tree?
This is about 6 to 7 years old, about 7 years old. And if, when people ask me, for someone that's not really into sort of gardening or tree planting in general, what sort of trees should I plant? Hands down, citrus.
Citrus, okay.
If you're an amateur, if you're a noob, if you are just beginning, you don't know much about gardening, you can't go wrong with citrus. Sorry about that one. Yeah, sorry. Sorry about that. When they ask me what sort of fruit should I plant, I always suggest citrus for a number of reasons. One, they're evergreen, so they always look good. In spring, you get the blooms, which about the...
Which smell absolutely
it's
amazing,
intoxicating,
heavenly.
It's intoxicating when the citrus blooms, and it comes for a month or so in springtime. So you get that as a bonus. They're low maintenance. There's not much pest and diseases. Because they ripen in winter time.
Yep.
So there's no the fruit fly is not active in that time. Not many insects are active in that time, so nothing bothers it. Not many things anyway. You get some sort of leaf minor problems, but I ignore it because once the tree will grow out of it.
Yep.
When they're young, they get affected, but eventually it grows out of it. It doesn't really affect the fruit. Stays evergreen, and they produce fruit for you which look good aesthetically and taste amazing, have vitamin C in it. And I don't know if this the reason why I believe anyway why the citrus fruit ripens in winter time, subhanallah, is because your body is in need of vitamin C to fight against the flu and other diseases and things that occur in winter time. So there's a reason for some to always eat anything that's in season. It's designed to ripen it at that time for a reason. It's subhanallah. So citrus always, if you're amateur, go citrus. Otherwise, if you want to get technical, then you start moving towards tropics and other things.
Speaking of technical, next tree, that's a technical tree.
The Doc Mai.
Doc Mai.
Okay, so this is my third edible in the
front yard.
In the front yard, there's only 3 edibles. This is our Doc Mai.
Yep.
It's an elongated type of fruit.
Thyme mango.
Thyme mango, exactly. I planted this in late winter 2024, so it's only maybe a few months old, 4 or 5 months old. It was dripping in fruit. They're highly productive, but I took all the fruits out, the baby fruits, and left one. Only because I want to taste it off the tree. Not recommended to leave any fruit on a baby tree. Because you want to, divert all the energy into the growth rather than the fruit.
We are in Sydney. We are not in Brisbane or tropics.
No, we're not in the tropics. We are in a warm temperate sort of.
It takes a lot of time for these trees to grow. So we can't have like
this
young
is
trees producing
10 years old.
This is 10 years old. Like
it's still just a bit higher than me. So Doc Mai, I've had it from the supermarkets. Even supermarket bought ones are still beautiful.
They are very good,
very aromatic. The kids love it. They tend to be very sweet, but all mangoes are. If you leave them to ripen to the fullest, they become very sweet. They have like a floral. I don't know if you know. They have a floral taste to them. A little bit of spiciness, which we like. We don't like straight sweetness. We have a bit of a tangy palate.
Yes,
our tongue is on the tangy side. We like things. Even the I've got grapes in the back, crimson seedless and that, and the kids have munched most of them before they even started turning colour. They like them sour, that's the way they like them. So we like it when things are a bit more sort of complex.
That's why I tell people, like, they're concerned about, mangoes can grow big in Sydney. Don't worry guys, just plant the mangoes. It will be a very, very long time before they grow bigger.
But you can control it. I mean, you can prune it down and control the height anyway. And plus, like you said, it's slow growing in Sydney.
It's a long time before you need to prune it.
Exactly.
These are very slow.
So don't be scared.
Shall we go to the backside?
Okay, we'll go this.
We have here.
Okay, so this is basically my driveway area where we park the cars, and here I've got mainly sort of herbs. Some strawberries. So I've got strawberries out of season now, and the kids keep munching on them. So some ornamentals. So this is thyme, Mediterranean thyme. We use it in za'atar and manouche. So this is part of the mixture. It's this with sesame seeds, roasted sesame seeds, sumac, all dried. You can see,
smell
amazing.
Beautiful.
Beautiful smell. And this is oregano.
Of course.
Which is it's also part of the mixture. So
and they are very good. Thank you. And they are very good for the bees as well. Like
bees, exactly. Oregano. Good pollinators. So I'll let them go to flower because it brings in the pollinators and the bees. Rosemary.
Rosemary.
So basically, this here is more for kitchen stuff. That's anything for cooking and things
this oregano, rosemary, and thyme, they are like bulletproof. They're planted right next to the driveway.
Exactly.
Getting heat all day. And they should be fine.
It's super hot because you can see the heat emitting from this concrete, and they're loving it because this is where they grow naturally.
They are Mediterranean.
Exactly. I was going to say
They need heat.
They're found in this sort of region, in a rocky, mountainous, dry, arid, lime rock sort of area where a lot of heat is emitted. So this is nothing to them. This is a walk in the park, so it's easy to grow. I've got some basil there.
Basil.
You have to have basil. Like also, like our cuisine is a lot of Mediterranean sort of influenced. So we always use basil and thyme and oregano, lime, chili, garlic. This is what we cook with.
Some chilies.
I've got some chilies everywhere. Like they're just scattered everywhere. So I've got here. I've got some there. Some chilies here. We'll get to some more.
All right, and then you have out of control grapes and some berries there.
So I've got the blackberries. Believe it or not, that's just 1 year old. This whole thing, they're super vigorous.
They are vigorous.
This is our thornless. So this is thornless. Blackberry. I planted about this time last year, and it's about to take over this whole area. So you need to
almost a weed. Almost a weed.
Yeah, they're a bit. They're not for the faint-hearted, not for the novice. So you got to stay on top of them every winter. You got to know how to prune it. You prune the old canes, leave the new canes. There's a bit of a sort of technical way to it. So yeah, this is all. You can see they're very productive. They're super productive, and they produce large berries. Tangy at this point.
Yes.
You let them turn black and ripen. They become very sweet. Beautiful fruit. So the kids always pop them and eat them as they're walking past.
What happened to the grapes? Why are they overtaking your driveway?
They're grapes. That's what they do. They overtake any area you put them in. It's a vine.
Yes.
Every year you prune it back to like a meter, and then it comes back, stronger than ever. They're super vigorous. What
variety is this?
There's two actually there. There's Crimson Seedless and Autumn Royale. You can see here, there's some fruits.
It is good. The fruit is so hidden that you know, birds can't find it.
Exactly. And I've got.
You have covered them.
I've covered them with
organza
bags, or there's a few names for them. I'll fix that later. Yeah, in fact, you can have a taste of that. I don't really spray here, so there's no need to worry. One of the main reasons I don't spray is for the kids. You know, look, I don't mind. You know,
they want, yeah.
Exactly. In extreme circumstances, if I have to spray, I would maybe in winter or something. But during the fruiting season, I stay away from it because you know, even though you tell the kids don't do it, the kids will be kids. They'll just walk past and eat it. So I don't like spraying during the fruiting season. So it's good. It's getting to the sweet side.
It's pretty good.
They're pretty good. Yeah, they're pretty good. But I'm leaning towards. I've got two. What's the other grape? I forgot the name of them now.
Pink Iona?
No. Muscadine.
Oh yeah.
So I've got two Muscadine grapes in there. Well, you can see them now once we go in. They're still babies. I just planted them a few months ago.
Yep.
And once they're established, I want to get rid of these two and leave the Muscadine.
Why?
Okay. Well, it's climate. Sydney is just not made for grapes. Look, they do okay, but
we are quite humid. Yeah, and they don't like it.
They don't like it.
Yep.
Unless you want to spray every single week and
you know what I've done? I've just got the grapes which are resistant to this.
You can get some grapes that are more.
I've got the Pink Iona and a couple of other varieties.
Yeah, they're more sort of used to our climate. Yeah. But even better is Muscadine grape because
Muscadine is like
they're literally bulletproof.
Texas.
Exactly,
Florida,
Texas and Florida, sort of the southern parts of the states where it's super humid and tropical. This is their native, where they're found, where natively they grow there. So I'm leaning towards that. And the reason why I plant grapes, it's not just for the grapes. You probably know that we actually eat the leaves.
Oh yeah, they are very good.
So we boil them and we stuff them. We put fillings in our rice and meat. We roll them, and it's a traditional dish that we do. There's a few ways of doing it. The recipe is on our channel. So that's the part of the reason why we so for the grape and for the leaves themselves. But if the leaves are getting affected because if the climate is not suitable, or if you have to spray it, then it becomes unedible. There's no point for me to grow it. So I'm enjoying it for now until the muscadines take over. Then I can eat the actual the leaves and I've never had a muscadine actually grape, but I've heard it's it's still pretty good. It's very large, almost a golf ball in certain varieties. Crunchy, juicy. Some varieties I've got two varieties here, Adonis and Supreme. I think the red one, which is for juicing. So I wouldn't mind doing a bit of grape juice and so that's the grapes, and it'll take a couple of years for them to take over.
Shall we enter the Fruitopia?
Fruitopia.
The backyard.
That's George's name anyway.
Sorry, George. We are stealing your name. Real life Fruitopia.
No. I would want to that's copyrighted, you know.
There is a mulch. There is the mulch.
Okay, so there's the mulch.
No more.
Now, you can see how thick it is. So this is the natural ground.
Yep.
And that's how thick the mulch is. It's probably about 30 centimeters at the moment. About 12 inches, 10 to 12 inches.
Yep.
From that point on, yeah.
And this is the thing,
It stays moist.
It stays moist.
It stays moist. So
if it rains, Look at
this.
Yep. This is the soil that plants love.
They love it, especially trees, more than vegetables. Vegetables, they're not.
Look at the worm. He just Ahmed has just scratched.
There you go.
And the worms are out.
The earthworms, yeah. So if I can give one advice to a beginner, mulch. Mulch. It'll solve your watering problems. If you neglect them, it'll take care of the watering part. It'll reserve the water, supply nutrition, supply habitat for any things that are underground and worms and things. Mulch. Before you do anything, mulch. Then start doing other things. In my opinion,
absolutely,
you can't go wrong. So the
right. What do we have here? Another citrus?
Okay, yeah. I've got maybe close to 10 mixed citrus, for obvious reasons. You can't go wrong with citrus. This is an Imperial Mandarin. It's an Australian variety, Australia's favorite Mandarin variety, cultivar. Very productive. One of the earliest ripening mandarins. They'll start coming into supermarkets around March, and they continue for about a few months after that. I like it. It's got a sweet, tangy flavor. Depends how long you leave it on the tree. It's got a good texture. We don't like things that are very soft and mushy. For example, I'm onto the Washington Navel. It's got a few chances until I think it's going to leave eventually. It's too soft and mushy. It's like a bag of juice.
Yeah.
It doesn't have a bit of a bite.
Yeah.
A bit of texture. It's too soft, too mushy. It's I've got we'll get to that. I've got another navel. Once it gets established, this is getting the sack. I might plant another mango there or something. I think maybe a mango or
mango, please.
or avocado. Yeah. Yeah. So this is our Imperial Mandarin, Australian variety. One of the best, in my opinion, Mandarin variety. It's a standard in Australia when it comes to mandarins. A patch of eggplants.
Eggplants, yep.
That's for the wife. She loves cooking. So this is your traditional.
We have some eggplants.
Yeah, there's some. We keep using them. So you see some eggplants here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Quite big.
Yeah. So this is the traditional black pearl. Black pearl. It's a don't know what the origin is, but it's an Italian Mediterranean. Let's call it Mediterranean old school OG eggplant. They call it a black pearl, which is all the Mediterranean uses. For cooking and things like that. This is for pickling. So these don't grow much larger.
They will stay small. Okay.
Much larger than this. That's as big as they go. There's a couple of varieties. This is they call this the Paria baby. Oh, sorry, not this one. This one here. So yeah, this one here. So it looks like a Japanese type of eggplant. See how it's a black stem rather than green.
Yep.
And it's got like a beautiful sort of pearly purple black color. So this is a new variety from the States. They call it a Paria baby. They don't grow much larger than this. They're good for stir fries. You chop them in half from in a stir fry, you mix them a bit. Very nice. We use them more for pickling. We love our pickles.
Okay.
It's part of our culture as well. So all these small eggplants we use it for pickling. The big stuff is for cooking.
Shall we go from this side first?
We'll go this way, yep. So this is our chili section.
All right.
Okay.
You're big on veggies.
Big on anything that grows. Like I said, anything that grows, I love it. Especially if you can benefit from it. You know, like vegetables and herbs and fruits, and you're getting something in return. Flowers, you get compliments, and ornamental, you just got compliments. This, you get compliments, and you get a nutrition. I wouldn't taste that if I were you.
No,
this is the reason why. This is the Carolina Reaper.
Okay, all right.
This is the #1 hottest chili on earth. That's a new one which I planted this year. This is that's been here since last year. That's why it's a bit old.
Is this for your enemies, the chili?
And when that upsets me, I'll just drop something in his food and it's finished.
Okay.
So we don't use it in cooking. The reason why we plant it, because we make our own dried powder, chili powder. You know, we just pick the chilies.
Okay.
We let them dry, or you can speed things in a air dryer.
Air dryer.
Or leave them somewhere shaded to dry until they become crispy. Then we'll grind them, and we'll make chili powder. But we like it a bit on the hot side, so we drop 1 or 2 of these. So you have maybe, I don't know, maybe a whole bag of your average sort of Thai chilies to one of these, and it takes it from like 5 to 10 heat.
Yeah.
So that's the only reason why.
This is a good place for chilies as well, right next to the driveway.
Next to the driveway, almost sun all day almost. You know, so basically from maybe 11 o'clock or so till the sun sets, because that's the
All
wet.
the afternoon sun.
Afternoon sun sets this way, they cop the heat. There's a few varieties here, you know. There's some habaneros, there's Anheim, there's all sorts of that's a Hungarian chili. It's a mixture, so
no, it's good.
each one's for cooking, one's for pickling, one's for powder, so you just mix it up. Another basil. I tend to throw basil here and there. Again, they're good for pollinators.
Yep.
And they're good repellent. You know, fruit flies don't like them much. It repels them as well, to some extent. So they attract pollinators, they repel haters basically. So, you know, basil there, lavender to attract pollinators. So I throw them here and there, just to attract pollinators to the garden. This is the Muscadine grape, the baby one. Okay. So I planted that a couple of months ago. It's already made its way up and integrated. There it is there. It's made its way into the grapevine. So eventually when it's old enough to take charge, they get in the sack and they're gonna, that's it there. You can see the leaves very simple, not much different. I find it a bit smoother than.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like all these leaves look, you know, a lot of disease, but they look like, you know, bulletproof.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. You can see there's like the dark green. They thrive in this sort of climate. They, you know, so there's nothing affects them. You know, You can see there's another grape here, the Crimson Seedless.
Okay, and the one outside was the one that I tasted?
Sorry, one sec. This is, I think that's Crimson Seedless.
That is more round, the one I had.
Yeah, yes, this is the, I think that's Autumn Royale, sorry. That's the Autumn Royale. So see the difference?
Autumn Maria.
Autumn Royale.
Autumn Royale.
Autumn, as in the season, autumn.
Wow.
Royale. So they're a little bit bigger.
So
they have a bluish color. Yeah, they're more crisp. They have I like them better than the Crimson Seedless. They're exceptionally good, these ones. See how they have a crispy, crunchy flavor? This is how I like them. I don't like something mushy. I'll chop it out. You know, I've had some of the green ones, or they're super soft. See you later. You know, after a couple of years, I'll chop it out. It's gone. But this is a super crisp.
It is.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's a shame that I have to get rid of it eventually, because the taste is exceptional on these things. They look beautiful as well, crispy. They're excellent variety. I'll cover this later.
All right, moving on. What do we have?
Okay. Okay, this is the main event now. So this is, if you can see the tag,
Bourjassotte Noire.
Bourjassotte Noire.
Bourjassotte Noire.
Right. Bourjassotte Noire.
Okay.
This is a collectible.
French, Italian?
It sounds French. There's a history behind it. So basically, Bourjassotte Noire got famous in France, in the area of de Soleil, in the area of Soleil. That's why you have another fig by the name of, I think, Soleil fig or something, because it was grown in that region. They turned into like a national sort of fig. But they stole it. Let's not say stole it. It was found originally. It was discovered in North Africa, in Morocco, because Morocco and France has a long history. You know, they ruled that area for a long time, and there's a lot of
not so good history.
Not so good. A big history, not so good history. Exactly. They ruled the area for a very long time, so they got a few things from there. So this was found in an area, and a dam. There was a dam with a tower. They used to have a tower to overlook the dam, you know, like a water dam. And what's I don't know if you know the name of, it's a very productive tree, yeah. Yep. Very productive tree. One of the best tasting tree, excellent for this climate, one of the better ones, almost as good as Celeste, we'll get to that one. But they found it next to a water dam. There was a tower overlooking the dam. You know, the dam in Arabic is Sud. I don't know if you know. Sud means dam. Burj means tower, like Burj Khalifa.
Burj Tower, yep.
Burj Khalifa. Yep. Burj means tower. So Bourjassotte is actually an Arabic name, but in France, in French, it sounds like Bourjassotte. They can't say Burj. It's Burj Al Sud. So Burj Al Sud is an Arabic word. In France, they pronounce it as Bourjassotte.
All right, there you
so
have
originally,
it's
an
Arabic,
a
Moroccan fig.
Exactly. The French one like it, but it is. It's a French fig that was made famous in France. They made it famous, but originally it's a Moroccan fig. Okay. Excellent. It's a black fig, extra large. Late, none have ripened yet.
Yep, I see all of them.
So I think I might have to bring you one of these. The black ones, the best ones, have ripened. Maybe in a couple of weeks, specifically for the black ones.
I'll come over.
Extremely vigorous. One of the most vigorous trees I've got. You can see if you come see, have a look at the trunk.
How old is this tree?
This tree here is about 7 years old.
Wow.
It's one of the most vigorous fig trees. This tree here.
Did you cut down the figs as well?
Yes, yeah. You know, people would kill for cuttings. You know that. For these, it's so hard to get. You have to circulate the air. Otherwise, it will start getting fungal diseases. It's a Mediterranean
That's
tree.
what I was like looking at. The tree is like so open inside. Like there's so
you
much
have
space.
to. Yes. You have to keep it open. They don't like humidity. They don't like rain during the growing season. It's exactly the opposite as the tropical. So anything dry, they love dry summers. They love dry summers. See what happened here originally, after a few years of planting it, it's so heavy, productive and vigorous. There was some wind and a storm, so the branch here collapsed on the floor. I let it be, so I struck roots.
Okay.
So this thing here struck roots everywhere, and it basically became another tree, and then new shoots come out of it, and that makes it stronger now. Because if you leave it upright as a standard, with all the weight on top, any you know, storms and wind, it'll just collapse. I've had issues with pomegranates as well. I've done the same thing with this one. It collapsed. I let it go. It struck roots, and it makes it stronger. It's a very you know, I would recommend this in Sydney. This the Violet de Bordeaux. Yeah, there's a lot more. You'll get to that. They grow wild. They grow wild in my backyard.
Okay, which pomegranate is this?
Okay, so this is a Middle Eastern, specifically Lebanese. It's a green type of pomegranate. It's an ancient type.
So it will remain green even if it is ripe?
No, up until the point it turns ripe, it becomes like a peachy, pinky color.
Okay.
Just before it gets ripe.
Okay.
Extra large, very thick-skinned. They're anti-fruit fly.
Okay.
They cannot penetrate it. They're that thick and hard, thick-headed, you know.
Good.
As I said.
I want this.
I'll give you some colors.
Anything that doesn't, attract
Make a
fruit
list
fly?
and you'll come your when it's time. Yeah, there's a few. So
Alright.
this is you can't buy. It's a collectible, as in it's
And what is
bulletproof.
this that is growing inside? Is it
Okay,
hill?
so this is asparagus.
Asparagus, okay.
Yeah, asparagus.
So we'll like
we'll get
taking
to,
over the pomegranate.
Yeah, that's what they do. They like if you plant them next to trees, then they start naturally. They're a bit
okay.
semi-climbers. They start climbing the trees and stuff. They're past this fruiting point. You know how you buy them as spears.
Yeah.
That's in spring. So in summer they die out. So all this growth will die out. In winter it'll die out. It'll dry. Springtime they'll start sending the spears, which you cut and eat. And when you're done, it's so productive. Eventually you just give up, and then they turn into branches.
I think they live for 20-30 years.
Very long time.
Yes.
You can't even start picking them till like 2-3 years once you plant them. You have to let them establish.
Yep.
Okay.
A lot of citrus varieties.
This is a pomelo with a cucumber climate on it.
Yep. Big pomelos.
It's a big pomelo. That's it's one of my oldest citrus. There's bigger. There's another one back there. Yeah, they grow almost watermelon size, extremely large. You can see there. Yep. They're there, and there's another.
Yep.
There's another tree with bigger fruits on it, but very productive. You can see them. It's a big tree, so it's hard to spot them. But the larger they get, the easier they are to spot. So there's one there. You can see there's one there, another one there. There's two there, another one there. There's probably, if I had to count them, maybe I don't know, 50 large fruits of this particular variety here. Okay.
What do we have here? The apples?
Apple, three-way apple.
Three-way apple. Okay, which variety are these?
We have Gala, Royal Gala, Pink Lady, and Fuji. A Fuji apple.
I've checked with multiple, I'm not an apple guy, but I've checked with multiple apple people, and they say Fuji is the number one.
It's I would probably have to agree.
Okay.
Very crisp, sweet, good texture on it, good flavor on it. Out of the three, I would probably pick Fuji as well. I mean, I'm not, this is the only apple tree I've got.
Okay.
Not an expert on apples, but I would say yes, I would agree that Fuji. There's better ones, Cox Pippin Orange, something like that. It's an English variety.
Yep.
It needs a lot of chill hours.
Cold, yeah, we don't have.
So it's a bit hard in Sydney to grow. I might, Dailies actually sell Scion wood. I might try this season when they're on sale and maybe graft a couple on there and see how it goes. That's supposed to be one of the, you don't see them in the shops because they're hard to keep and all that. So I might try that. So this is the apple, more strawberries here.
Yep.
I planted a couple that just, strawberries they keep spreading.
You want the ground to be covered.
Exactly. So ground cover and you get strawberries out of it. So it's a plus plus. Okay, so here I've got some silver beet, Swiss chard. They're more of a winter plant, so that's why in summer they sort of the plants they dry up, but in winter they flourish. Another citrus. That's a navel type. So this is the one that's going to replace the Washington navel.
Okay.
So this is a navel. It's called Navelina, which I bought from Dailies actually as well. Navelina. It's a Spanish type of navel orange compared to the American Washington navel. Obviously, it's American. It's a Spanish type, but it's, to me, in my opinion, and a lot of other people's opinion, it's superior to Washington. Has a better color. It's a slight elongated shape, large. And the texture, the reason why it wins is the texture.
A bit more bitey texture.
More a bitey, a bit of a pulpy. You can bite into the pulp. You can taste the pulp. It's not as mushy. Like Washington navel. It's like a bag of juice. Very nice, very sweet, excellent.
Maybe good for juicing, but not for fresh eating.
But they're not really because they're super sweet. What's good for juicing is Valencia Seedless because it's tangy. Tangy. The tangiest flavor in there keeps for longer. Washington navels, after a couple of days, they go off. You have to drink them, but.
Shall we go into this row?
We'll go here. So this is a Parfianka.
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 Is it productive?
For me, it's look, they're only young trees. I mean, probably 2 years old or something. So I can't really judge them. Yeah, but they're not the most productive for me. For me, wonderful, hands down.
Wonderful,
hands down. Look, productivity, hands down. Flavor, Parfianka. Parfianka, when it comes to flavor and texture, the soft seeded.
I mean, you have to balance, right? You know, if that flavor is good, you know, that's okay. But you have to have the fruit.
But look, if I had to choose one, and if I had to sort of advise others, if they only want to plant one tree, it's wonderful. It's wonderful.
That's it.
But I've got the space, so I'm going to experiment. But in terms of flavor, this wins, number one. In terms of flavor, and wonderful has a bit of a hard seed. If you're not used to it, you might dislike it, the seed. This, you don't even feel the seeds when you bite into it. It's very soft.
Soft seed, okay.
Very soft seeded. Ratio like of the juice or flesh to seeds is very high. One of the best sort of sweet to sour flavors. Large, dwarfing variety. So it's got a lot of pluses, but so far it's not the most productive.
Yeah, it is. Not
there's only a couple there. This one is also Parfianka. Okay. That's more productive, this one. It's got larger, if you can see here. They're starting to develop the fruit there. They're a lot larger. It's got a few, so one here, there's inside over there, another one there. There's a few there. There's a few there, even down there. There's a whole bunch down there. So this is a bit more productive. That's the beast here. We'll get to that one. But yeah, Parfianka, if you have the room and you want the best tasting, then Parfianka is the one to go. This is just a trellis for beans. Yeah, beans. So I've got snake beans. I don't know if you use them in your cuisine, but we use them a lot in our cooking. You can buy them from supermarkets. They're good for sort of a stir frying and things like that.
That's such a great way to save space and like grow beans.
Exactly. Go verticals. Yeah, go vertical. And inside there, I've got another citrus. I just planted this a few months ago. This is a Sumo Mandarin. They call it Sumo. Newish variety from Japan. It's a sort of a Satsuma variety.
It has the top is a bit.
That's what they call a sumo. You know, the sumo bump. The sumo wrestler has a bump, the hair bump. This has a big bump, and it's large because it's a cross between a mandarin and an orange. It's a large fruit. It's very sort of it's ugly looking almost. It's very jagged and it doesn't have a smooth surface. Easy to peel, but amazing flavor, like a sweetness to tangy sort of a combination is perfect. And the texture, that's what wins. Again, it's got a bite and good sort of pulp. Get it. Okay, so this is the Lebanese green pomegranate. It's my largest pomegranate. It's huge, massive.
The one there is that is same.
Same one. Okay. It's massive. Yes, so it's taken up this whole area here.
But these leaves are very light color.
Okay.
And that is
So
green.
this old branch, last year I think it collapsed.
Okay.
So I put it back, and that's it. It's once it's gonna go backwards. So I'm just getting the fruit out of it this year. I'm gonna chop it back and leave sort of the new growth.
Yeah. Okay.
That's part of the maintenance of pomegranates. Because they said they like to grow in a bush type. They don't like standard. They're very bushy.
Yeah.
So every time you lose one, you chop it, then the 10 will replace it. It's not a problem. Okay, so just quickly here before we leave.
Cherry tomatoes taking over the neighborhood.
Yes, cherry tomatoes. You can see they're just everywhere. You can try if they're very sweet. We don't buy tomatoes.
And it doesn't look like they are affected by the fruit
No,
fly.
because they grew naturally. SubhanAllah, when something grows by itself from seed, I don't plant them. They reset themselves year after year. And they're not affected by fruit fly. You can step on them. Yeah, that's fine. You can start. Yeah, that's another pomegranate. I forgot the name of it. A friend gave it to me. Red Angel, something like that. Angel Red. Angel Red.
Okay.
Angel Red. I'm not sure about it. It's still a baby. But okay, so here we have a raspberry.
Raspberry.
Heritage. It's called the variety. Just planted it last year, and it'll probably be ripe by autumn. So that's the Middle Eastern green pomegranate. It's bulletproof. Nothing will affect it. You don't have to spray. Nothing thick skin. Pretty productive. I mean, it's such a big tree. You think it's not, but once you start walking around and counting them, there's a lot of fruit everywhere.
I can see like if I.
There's a lot. It's just hidden. It's everywhere, and it's very large. Once they ripen, they ripen in autumn time, March, April. Large fruit, beautiful flavor as well. Low maintenance. No.
What was this tree like? Did you try?
Okay, so you can see it doesn't want to die. So that's a fig tree.
That is popping up again.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. It doesn't want to die. It pops up again. I might have to cut it and dig it out.
Yeah.
So this was one of my. I just took it out last year, I think. A fig tree. They call it number 35 because they couldn't identify the variety, so they give it numbers. The reason why I took it, it's because this spot here It's my lowest point of the yard, so it sort of holds a lot of water here. And the reason why it's not good for figs, when they ripen, because there's always a lot of moisture in this area, the fig splits. The fig, you know, fruit, it's like a sponge. It likes absorbing a lot of water if you give it the chance. So it just keeps absorbing the water, especially when it rains. See you later, you won't eat fruit for a month. It'll just get too large from the water and split. So there's no point having it here. I'd rather take it off, put a pomegranate. The pomegranate can take the moisture they like.
So when figs have fruit, like small green ones, stop watering.
When they have, look, they do need water. Like you have to leave them on a water sort of regime, like a schedule. I cut water off to them at this time. Okay. When they you know, when they start expanding, that's when because I don't want to ruin the flavor and I don't want to split them.
You want the flavor to concentrate.
Exactly, the sugars. You'll see now when you taste it. Even though look, it's been raining in Sydney. You know, the last couple of, on and off. Yeah. So technically, the fig shouldn't taste the best at this time. They need dry weather to concentrate the flavors, the sugars. Yep. If you give them water, then it's like cordial. You know, it's like it tastes watered down. Yep. So that's the reason why I don't water this time. But I do water when they're green. I do. I water like depends. You know, if it's rain, I won't water. Otherwise, I've got irrigation running through all this area, and I've got fertigation through the irrigation.
Oh, okay, that's good. That's good.
Yeah, so
saves a lot of time and effort.
Exactly. So I've got the irrigation system, and I've got a fertigation bottle.
We'll visit at the end of the video. Yep.
Yeah, it's at the front actually. So it feeds both the front and the back, all connected to one system. Okay. I bought it from I think Easy Flow online. You can get them. You put the, you know, we'll go through it later. Yep. That's the same variety. These two.
Another pomegranate? Okay.
Yeah, pomegranate, same, it's the Middle Eastern green type, the same one.
Shall we go from there or?
Yeah, Just munch on these by the time we get to, to others. Okay, let's walk around.
All right, what do we have? Oh.
Okay, so that's another mandarin. That's a Clementine type, nice mandarin. Loquat, you know what a loquat is. It's a tropical sort of fruit, has a tropical flavor. If you had to describe the flavor, I would say maybe pineapple to peach to sort of, you know, almost mango. It's got like a tropical flavor is the best way to describe it.
Super easy to go.
Super easy, you just throw it, it's practically, I think, considered a weed in Australia.
It is a weed,
yeah. It's considered a weed because it drops the seeds. You'll see here, watch in a couple of months, they'll start popping up everywhere. They're so easy to propagate and it's considered a weed. So, but it's a beautiful, this particular variety is grafted. It's a Bessell brown. It's a large,
yep.
Yeah, you know the variety, it's a large.
Brassicave and Bessell brown.
Bessell brown, exactly. So that's the type here. Okay, so this here is the Celeste.
The best fig in the house?
If you had to grow one fig in Sydney or any humid, subtropical, warm temperate, rainy summers, you had to pick one fig, this is the fig, hands down. You can see, walk around to all the other figs, they're doing good, they're doing good, not as good as this, but you almost struggle to find a bad leaf in here. Super green, I've never had a leaf drop, thrives in this condition. This was actually bred in America for the southern states of America, for the tropics basically, or the humid areas of America. They named it Celeste. Very sugary, tastes like brown sugar, like caramel almost. For me anyway, they're large fruit. They look beautiful on the tree. Yes, if you want to plant one tree in Sydney or subtropics conditions, that's the one, hands down. You'll throw it, it'll thrive, you'll give you beautiful fruits.
I just want to show you, do you have, again, did the pruning in a way?
Yes.
That middle part is open?
Open center, yes.
Open center.
Open center.
In the middle, and it's full open.
You need, again, they don't like humidity. Humidity is their enemy. Rain during the growing season is their enemy. Water from the top is their enemy. They do not like it at all. So you have to counter attack that by pruning it in a way where the air circulates, the sun and the light gets in the middle. Just to minimize or prevent those issues, fungal diseases and so on. Okay, let's get to the crunch. You can see the fruits here. Okay, I'll just show you when I take off. If you want to have a look at these. So this is how they hang when it's ripe. This is a perfectly ripened fig. it forms cracks
Yep.
on the surface, which indicates it's actually that sugars are concentrating, and it's drawn from the outside. It's becoming soft. So cracks on figs is good. Cracks on anything else is no good. On apples is no good. You know, like bananas or mangoes, you don't want cracks. But on figs, you want cracks.
Okay.
And it means it's ideal condition. It's ripened perfectly. It looks beautiful. You know, every time I see subhanAllah, it's just it's a beautiful looking fruit.
Yep.
The colors, the everything about it.
I'll just open it a bit just to show in the camera.
Yep.
The flesh inside.
Yeah.
You can take the half.
So this has an amber color. It's a honey colored fig, and the flavors sort of represent that a little more, sort of a sugary caramel flavor. You'll see when you eat it.
Oh man, it's fig jam. It's like so chewy and it's like high on sugar. Oh
It's
my
high,
god.
extremely high in sugar.
Oh my god.
That's why this fig is
so good.
described. They describe it as a sugar fig.
Yeah.
That's the category they give it. So figs, they give it 3 categories. There's the sugar category, there's the honey category, and there's the berry category. My favorite is the berry, that category of flavors. This is the sugar one. I made literally, you know, when you brown, when you caramel sugar in a pan to make caramel, this is what it tastes like, but more complex. Amazing, yeah, it's a different level. It's a different level, yeah. That's why I recommend this fig in a humid climate. You must have a fig like this. Every guy in Sydney or up in the tropics, Queensland, any of those areas, you know, where they don't get Mediterranean. We don't have a Mediterranean. The only Mediterranean climate in Australia is South Australia. Some parts of Victoria that's close to South Australia, and some parts of Western Australia that's close to South Australia. That southern region of Australia is a Mediterranean climate.
That's where they do a bit of like all this commercial fig farming as well. And
fig farming,
and
you know, grapes, you know, olives. All that Mediterranean, a lot of it is from there. And they have the fig wasp there as well. I don't know.
Yeah.
You've heard about the fig wasp?
But these ones are
common. You don't need the pollination for these ones. But if they're pollinated, the flavor, see how good this is? If it was pollinated, it'll even double in terms of quality. It just gets better. That fig, subhanAllah, does something
This is the best
special.
fig in my life.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's good. It's good. If that's the, we should taste others. Look, at the moment, I've only got this White Adriatic and VDB ripening. Me personally, White Adriatic is better than this.
I'll taste a White Adriatic because I heard
VDB
so
is
much
number
about
3.
it.
Yeah. So it depends. If you have a sweet tooth, this is your boy here.
This is too much. This is like getting me high on sugar.
It's
want to sleep now.
caramel. It's caramel. You know, like a salted caramel flavor.
I want to sleep now.
It's you can see in there. And very productive fig, highly productive fig. They hang off the tree. I'll give you some. You can give to the family later on.
I love the texture, like, you know,
beautiful texture.
The one that
it's got
all
like
the cracks and everything.
Yeah, the cracks. It's
it looks
beautiful.
so good on the fruit.